Thanks, Sophie. Tonight on BBC London, hundreds are still without drinking water after a chemical leak in a block of flats. Good evening. Hundreds of people living in a new development of flats in East London have been without drinking water for nearly a week after their tank became contaminated. Residents living in Hackney Wick noticed a chemical smell 2 weeks ago, but it took 7 days for the developer to find hydrocarbons in the water supply. One of the residents, Rebecca, got in touch with BBC London to share her story. Carl Mercer reports.
Modern-looking flats, but not delivering a very modern service.
Okay, let's get some water.
Let's get two.
This is now the daily routine for Rebecca and Ian. The water in their flat and hundreds more in 4 new blocks deemed unsafe.
It says, "Red, do not drink your tap water," and it tells you all the things you can't do. Not even after boiling the water, not to brush your teeth, with anything. You can only use it to flush the toilet and to have a bath.
The problem started a week ago.
Just really strong smell in here. As soon as you open the door, it kind of came through the whole flat.
I was probably more worried than him about it, what it could mean, and that sometimes you could have something and it might not. It could be like longer term effects that don't show up to start with, and it was only after we started to get the notices through that I noticed I'd been feeling a bit nauseous, and I wondered, is it that? And they've still not told us what the chemical is.
We had no idea. I think it was probably a few days, and we were still using the water, you know, for the kettle and whatnot, without really thinking about it. Like we didn't even know the water was contaminated.
The problem, it seems, is not with supply to the flats, but may be linked to building work and the building's own water tank. For now, Thames Water is delivering bottled water to the flats. In a statement, the developers, Taylor Wimpey, said,
"We are sorry to hear of the water supply issues and sincerely apologise to residents for the inconvenience caused. We are urgently investigating the cause of the problem."
Thames Water found hydrocarbons in the water and is analysing new samples taken from the flats. It said,
"We would like to reassure customers that we have consulted with the UKHSA and that levels in samples taken from the development are well below those likely to cause ill health. We are taking all reports of ill health very seriously and would recommend anyone with health concerns to consult with their GP."
Meanwhile, it could be another week before Ian and Rebecca have to stop doing this. Carl Mercer, BBC London.
People in Croydon will see their council tax rise by 15% after a vote this evening. Last week, the Mayor's proposal to address the council's £1.6 billion debt was rejected. Tonight, as protesters gathered outside the town hall, officials warned that a failure to make a decision would be unlawful and cost the council a further £20 million. In the last hour, the tax rise, the highest in London, was voted through. Next, as you may have heard, there's been an increase in the number of dog attacks in the past 5 years. The Met says it's seen an 83% rise in out-of-control dogs causing injury. After the death of a dog walker in Surrey this year, one Londoner is calling for more safety rules, as Olivia Dimitriadis reports.
Good job! A common enough sight in London parks. Bodie, Eric and Pepsi on their daily stroll in the hands of dog walker Hayley. But it's an industry that's been thrown into the spotlight since the fatal attack of Natasha Johnston in Caterham in January. Rules vary from council to council. With a licence, just up the road in Tandridge, Hayley can walk 6 dogs, but in Croydon, she can only walk 4.
People would just move from different areas to different areas. If we was to be regulated, there'd be a list of basic rules and regulations that we would then have to abide by. And I think those sort of things would then make sure that everybody is being safe in the environment.
One council that's reviewing their terms and conditions this year around public safety is Richmond.
When something horrible like that happens, it does make you feel very concerned, and it does make you look at whether what you're doing is correct. And our prime concern is to make sure that people in our parks and open spaces are safe and that the parks and open spaces are looked after. So it does make us think about how well we're doing that.
Councils like in Richmond have public space protection orders, which are a broad range of powers to help tackle antisocial behaviour.
There are rules around dog fouling, exclusions from certain areas including play and sports spaces, keeping your dog on a lead in a restricted area, and there are rules around multiple dog walking. For example, here in Richmond, you need a licence to walk more than 4 dogs, though this varies from council to council, and your dogs must be kept under control.
A Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs spokesperson said,
"Whilst dog walkers are not currently subject to any national limit on the number of dogs they can walk at any one time, they must be in full control of their animals and comply with local authority and insurance policy rules."
Olivia Dimitriadis, BBC London.
Now, many of us woke up to snow this morning. In central London, it quickly disappeared with the rain, but in Surrey and the outskirts of the capital, there were several inches, and some schools were forced to close. Well, talking of the weather, let's see how things are looking for the morning. Here's Stav Daneos with the forecast.
Hello there. It was a wintry day, certainly this morning, with some sleet and snow around. We'll continue with a wintry theme, I think, across the north of our region through tonight. Yellow warning still in force there. Risk of ice here as well. Temperatures dip to freezing, but a little less colder further south that you are. So we start tomorrow morning off on a chilly note with rather a lot of cloud around. Then we start to see the wind picking up from the southwest, outbreaks of showery rain moving through as well. Some of it heavy, maybe a rumble of thunder, and there will be a bit of sunshine in between, but you will notice there'll be much milder with our southwesterly winds, temperatures up to 10 or 11 degrees. It does turn briefly colder again for Friday with outbreaks of rain, maybe some sleet, and then it's more unsettled as we head back into the weekend, but it'll be mild, wet and very windy.
Well, that's all from us on the Late Team tonight. You can catch up on how London's been celebrating International Women's Day. That's on our Facebook. And of course, there's plenty more snow pictures there too. We'll be back tomorrow in breakfast from 6. Thanks for watching and do have a very good night.